Hey everyone, I hope everybody's doing okay and staying safe. This is the follow-up video that I wanted to make about the Stormbrand Hierophant that I made this league. I've really enjoyed the character. This character is really strong. We'll go over it, but I just wanted to start with a real quick Cyrus kill. This is A8. I'll show it at the end. And let's just reduce the volume a little bit. I'm not that great in like doing picture-in-picture and everything, so I'll just talk over it. I created this character for only bossing, and it's pretty good at bossing. It can tank a lot of one hits, which is what's important in bossing. Now, were I to use this character for mapping, I probably would have made it differently. And this character is not the greatest mapper, especially because it's slow. It's not that enjoyable. It exceeds at bossing, as I said, because you're gonna have a lot of like one shot that you're gonna have to take sometimes if you're as clumsy of a player as I am. And I actually showcase at the end, I get a full hit beam, like in the last phase, the 5 beams. As you saw right now, I don't know how big is gonna be the area, so I generally just don't move as much as I probably should. But even then, you're left alive, and this is one of the interesting ones that I did yesterday, and I wanted to record this and show you guys this. The reason being that at the end you'll see that I take a full-blown hit from the multiple beams, like 5 beams, and I still survive with like 600 ES at the end. And that's the important part about bossing. Basically, you have to basically tank it, and you have a lot of damage. As you saw, we just phased him. The whole clip with beginning and everything is 5 minutes. So we are doing bossing rather quickly, 4 phases rather very quickly. So this is a good bossing character, and I've been doing a bunch of guardians today for this character just to get a feeling of how I feel like I can improve, and because I wanted to make a POB for this spell. But I feel like as it is right now, it's great at what it's supposed to be doing for bossing. But other than that, it has some areas for improvement, and I'm gonna go over it. Just let me show you the end. This is the around the place that I wanted to talk about. You see, we come out of this, and I probably shouldn't have taken Cirrus to this specific location, not the greatest location. I get 2 balls in the face. Doesn't matter. All 5 of them. We got hit by all 5 of them. Then I went to a degen ground, and I still finished. And this is how good this character is for bossing. You can tank a lot of things, and just to show you how 5 portals left, so no deaths, no nothing, and I should show, yeah, Awakener level 8. And the second thing that we're gonna just let it play in the background is gonna be just a simple, what do you call it? At 100% delirious map that I just showcased here. If you guys want to see, yeah, oh come on. So this is the 100% delirious map that I did. It's Maze of the Minotaur. Minotaur is really hard for this character because it has a lot of physical damage, and we don't have any armor, any physical damage reduction. The only thing that we currently have is the 1 endurance charge that I have. So even though that was the case, and this was a T16 100% delirious, and I'll die a couple of times in there. Generally, not even to the boss, but because I go head on, and this is not the type of character for that specific playstyle. So if you go head on and don't, you can cast your brand in front of you, and then this is the safest playstyle. But I generally want to zip through the map very quickly, very comfortably. And this wasn't the character for that, especially at this level, because a lot of things can kill you and they gang up on you. And I'll talk over a couple of things that we can probably do better if you want to do this type of character for general mapping, but I'm never going to say this is going to be an enjoyable mapper. So if that's what you're looking for, probably I'll look somewhere else for this specific thing. So let's forget about this one, and let's leave this here. We don't need this playlist. And can I basically do this? No. I don't know how to remove the browser part. So I'll just leave this be, and I'll show you guys this. It's just small this. Leave it right here, you can see something. And let's remove this. So I'll show you the POBs, but actually let's go over POBs. That's gonna be more easier to understand. So this is our current character that we have. I just added, we are at level 94. I added a couple of points that I wanted to add. I added this tree, and with a favored mine, I added this one, because currently our light radius is based on life. So basically when you go into some dark place, you won't see anything. And I'm okay with that, because this character is supposed to, another character is supposed to go in, do the map, make a portal for this one. I log out, log with this one in, a couple of seconds, the boss is done, I'll come back up. That's the purpose for this character. That's why I didn't even level it past 94. I'm not mapping with it. But if I were to, I would definitely get this one. I would get another favored mine with a bunch more damage. Each one of our brands is currently, if we do with this setup, it's gonna do 3 million damage. Currently we do around 2.6, and it doesn't even count that 10% increased damage taken by the enemy, which is a multiplier for us. And this is more than enough for any character, any boss in the game, and any character to be able to do anything. If you want to invest some more, you probably can go with the percent of mana gain that energy shield while affected by clarity. I already added that, and I somehow have it just because I wanted to reserve as much life as possible. I already have a clarity and a precision just in case I wanted to go crit, or I wanted to purchase that Watcher's Eye Jewel. I didn't really feel the need to, but play for yourself, see what you need to do. The only things that we need to fix, and you need to fix if you want to play this character for general mapping, not just bossing as I'm doing, is that there's a couple of decisions that you need to make. But other than that, you need to be very careful about chaos damage, because your resistance to chaos damage is minus 53%. Actually, yeah, this is the one, sorry. It's minus 60%, right? So you're sitting at minus 60% chaos resistance, and that's basically a 1.6 time multiplier of the damage they're doing. You have a bunch of mana, so they have to go through about 8800 mana, but still they can do it very quickly, especially the ones that spit some chaos damage at you, the ones that you can see in like at series map and like the wall temple areas, all those things. Those are gonna be a problem for you. From ES, I'm very comfortable with the amount of ES that I have. I've actually why is this? Oh yeah, at series prom stats. So this was the correct POE. I'll go over the other one, but this is the correct POE. It's just that I already taked my at series promise. I did that because of the chaos resistance. So even with at series up, you still at minus 20%. That's 1.2 time multiplier. So this is the current character minus this point and these 3 points, which puts at 94, which is what I have. Currently we have around 10,200 energy shield, or minus this one, I believe. Like, how much do we have? We have actually 10,000, 1100, or yeah, about 10,000. That's not that much, but it's more than enough, as I showed you, to face tank a lot of things. We are not going crazy about like resistance. The only one point that we get is this one for lightning resistance. Everything else is just working itself out. You have more than enough damage, as I mentioned, to do whatever you want in the game, especially with your Wise Oak up and at series palms up. Without that, you lose like 500 damage. You still have sustained damage no matter whether you have fast or not. But definitely do think about the chaos resistance. If you can get your chaos resistance somewhere in one of your slots that you have open, definitely do that. And another thing is stun immunity. A lot of times when you're mapping, you get hit a lot and the mini stun you. So you can do this one. You cannot be stunned if you've been stunned or blocked and stunning hit in the past 2 seconds, but that still means you are going to be stunned every 2 seconds. And I didn't get the full thing because, as I said, I didn't really felt the need to. It's bossing. I can play around one mob at a time, even if that mob is an actual boss. But if you were to actually do this, I would suggest go full thing, go Grace, get the Legion Slayer, get the all those things, because they will help you. The stun and block recovery will help you recover from the stun, right? Or another suggestion is to get something like this one. This is Skyforce, and this is the I'll show you the other build. This is very expensive, this league, for some reason. I've had Skyforce sold for 60 kills, but this league, because a lot of people are using it for a bunch of different builds, is very in demand. So I got this one. Damage penetrates 10% of enemy elemental resistances, which is really good for you when you're bossing. And power charges, you have a bunch of mana. Stun threshold is based on 500% of your mana instead of life. That, with the amount of mana that we have, means that we are not gonna get a stun at all with like general mob. So you don't have to worry about your stun immediate. Or you can go with the at series what's it called? We have a project here. Yeah, the Presence of Chayula, which gives you cannot be stunned and a bunch of life converted to energy shield. These two are some things that you have to think about when you're building this. This is good. It's going to give you a bunch more chaos resistance, and you cannot be stunned, and some energy shield, because it turns, we already have around 1800 life or something that's unreserved. That's going to translate that to energy shield, base energy shield. But the foible is a lot better for damage, basically, because we have a bunch more damage. We have the 28% 120 maximum mana, which means that we are our Archmage is going to give us a lot more damage. That's the route that I went to, because this character was for bossing. But if I were to actually do it the other route, I probably would even have both of them. Just put this on whenever you need to, and then remove that when you're doing the boss. Not even for like map bosses, but for like Shaper, Uberler, which I did a bunch today, just so I get a feeling for this character. But everything else is perfect for me. You probably don't need anything else. This is, as I was showing you in this setup, we went Elemental Overload, which gives us more than enough damage. Now, I wanted to mention the Skyforce and the expensive route. You can push this to a little bit more with the somewhat of a sane amount of investment. This is some person that I found on POE Ninja website he was doing pretty much the same kind of thing, but he went crit, because I wanted to see how much can we get out of crit. He's getting about $1 million, a little bit more than $1 million, with some more investment from me, but he's using a Skyforce, and he has to worry about a bunch more things, he needs to get like critical strike chance for the spells on his dagger, or if you're using a van, whatever, you need to worry about a bunch of crits on the few slots that you have available. I didn't want to think about those things and add those to basically the equation. Just mana and some resistance is generally cheaper than that, plus some type of critical multiplier or crit chance, anything. Another thing that I wanted to add that this guy did pretty good is Rumi's Concoction. You probably don't need as much damage as I'm currently adding, right? So just add a Rumis here. You're gonna add another 20% and like 12% of block chance, which is more than enough to basically just give you a little bit more tankiness, right? Think of it this way. Currently, from every 4 attacks, we are blocking 1. That way you're blocking 2, which means that you're gonna reduce your damage taken by 33% from attacks. And we're practically not blocking anything. If you add that, you're blocking every 1 in 5 attacks, which is still more than what we are doing currently, right? So that's something to think about. I talked about the Skyforce, I talked about the Presence of Chayula, I talked about the Rumi's Concoction. From Flask setup, I would definitely drop the Vizok. You don't need the damage. Go for some more survivability. From physical damage, one of your best things to do is, as I said, you can add a bunch of different setups for this character, and you can go with like rings that can have more than one more than one endurance charges, or the roomies by default gives you 3000 armor, which is really helpful when you're getting hit a lot by a small number. Like the damage of the hit is not that much. That's gonna help you a lot, actually. As you probably know, the armor has like a diminishing return, so the more you have armor and the higher the damage of the hit is, the less damage reduction armor does. So it's not like resistances who works linearly, basically. Uh, yeah, that's pretty much it. I wanted to basically discuss a bunch of things because I didn't change that much. This is still from the last video. I still have a bunch of the same things. If I changed anything, I just did it a little bit better. I had a total investment of around 10 exalt for this character. I didn't want it to go over it. I wanted to see if I can make a good bossing character for that specific purpose under 10 exalt. And I just showed you that one, and eventually we'll come up to the actual boss and you'll guys see, I don't know if you guys were paying attention, but there's a 100% delirious map and did it very easily. If I was a little bit more careful with how I play things, I could have done this deathless. For 100, if you guys remember, I showed you another video about another character of mine, which that one is a lot more expensive, but the damage is not there for a 100% delirious map, right? But this one has the damage. You're still killing monsters. You have to kite a little bit every now and then. If that's okay with you, you can do 100% delirious, which nobody does except like some people. Like even what I'm comfortable currently with is like just 60%. Just do a lot of maps in 60%. But yeah, this is pretty much the character. I went over everything that I wanted to talk about. There's a bunch of improvements that you can make. See what you feel like lacks with your playstyle, and I always suggest going to this website. This is POE Ninja. It's very simple to just take a look at it and see basically what anybody else is doing and get some like generic examples of like, oh, this guy is doing this, maybe that will help me. But and this is the example of the Watcher's Eye that I was mentioning with 18% of maximum mana as extra maximum energy. That's currently goes for 35 to 40 exalts, which is a lot of investment for this character. I didn't want it to basically go over that much. Another thing that I mentioned in my last video and I wanted to clarify is that I went for controlled destruction. You can go for energy leech and try to do shocks basically. You still have everything going through about elemental focus, sorry. You can do still shock a lot because you have some crits, and even if you don't have crit, you probably get some shock chance here and there, and you have a lot of damage to shock. But bosses, we don't really know how much they usually change the bosses to have threshold instead of their actual life. Back in the day, you rarely could actually shock a boss to take even the 5%, which is the minimum amount of shock. But after they changed it, I was reading on Reddit, and some people say that you can actually shock them. I wouldn't say you are shocking them to the extreme, like 30%, 40%, but you may be able to shock, so maybe Energy Shield is better in general for you, but I do prefer the consistency of Elemental Focus. But if you want to do just general mapping, definitely Energy Leech feels a lot better because you're shocking a lot more. You're actually shocking just mobs with the amount of damage you're doing. So that wouldn't be a problem for you. Yeah, that's everything. And we just died to the boss. Let's actually pick this up a little bit. I'm just dodging everything. Basically, this whole character, why I do this as a bosser is very simple. Your Stormbrands are doing the damage. I'm just moving around. I still got hit by a stone, and that one-shotted me or half-shotted me basically because I was not at full energy shield. But that was still more than enough to basically go through the boss, right? The damage is there. You have to just try to dodge as much as you can, and I'm not that good at dodging, and I don't move as much as I probably should between these things. But look at how quickly a 100% delirious Minotaur is going. I'm just walking around him as long as he doesn't do, yep, done. So Yeah, this character was a success in my book. I still don't know if I'm gonna make another character or I'm gonna go back to standard for a little while. And I still have I'm thinking about some plans for the future, but let's see what happens. Thank you guys for listening and leave a comment below if you have any questions. Or I'm not the greatest at this game. I'm not gonna say that I know everything, but if there's anything, any questions that I can answer, do let me know. Thank you guys.